Alrighty, yo, what is going on, everybody? It's your boy, Mr. DDG94, back with another reaction video. Today, we finna react to was Survivor Series '02 the best one? That's tough. This was a good one. This was a good one. I do remember this. This was a good one. But without further ado, though, let's get right into it.
With 2002 coming to a close, the wrestling industry learned many valuable lessons. For one, WWE was the undisputed and for a short time the only game in town. The company had a very unusual stranglehold on the industry that was harmful because for decades there was plenty of different kind of wrestling in the US and a lot of healthy promotions. 2001 and 2002 saw very few companies come off the ground, and even if they did, they faced many other problems later on. WWE itself also struggled with a lack of competition as it allowed for them to be complacent. In turn, the ratings fell hard, and instead of looking for the old strategy, it was off to newer things. 2002 is a weird transition of that. They always try to make it seem like it was a comfortable change in their documentaries, but it was tough. That change took about a year to materialize. SmackDown was spearheaded by a human anomaly by the name of Brock Lesnar. A blend of size, speed, and strength never seen before in the WWE was their guy to lead things in light of a new era. Triple H, a familiar face, was the top name on Raw. His run often comes with controversy, but regardless, they believed he was the man to be on top. The brand split was very tight at the time, with both shows having a very strong identity. Very rarely would they collide. With that said, Survivor Series 2002 was held in Madison Square Garden in New York City on November 17th, 2002. 17,390 were in attendance for the first Elimination Chamber match, and the buy rate was 340,000, which was pretty bad. Survivor Series 2001 did 450,000 buys, and 2003 did the same number, so people weren't really looking forward to WWE at the time. The theme song for the event was Always by Saliva, one of the most iconic pay-per-view songs WWE had in this era, and they certainly had a memorable promo for the Elimination Chamber match as well. The first match of the show was a 6-man tag team tables match. Jeff Hardy, Bubba Ray, and Spike Dudley faced 3-minute warning. This was an elimination match, by the way. Bubba was in a weird position where he was transitioning away from the Dudleys, but similar to Devon, that was a struggle. It was a big part of their careers. Jeff Hardy had done decent for himself at the time, but was seen as somebody that wasn't fulfilling his potential. For me, this is one of the most iconic looks of his career, just wanted to mention that. The glow-in-the-dark face paint didn't last long enough though, because he himself didn't last in WWE for much longer. 3-minute warning were a major part of Eric Bischoff's early GM run. You can't really tell the story without them because the faction was causing destruction. With him constantly saying he's got 3 minutes, they quickly went at it. The guys were just pummeling each other with the faces taking a slight advantage. They were ready for another and even brought it to the outside. Jeff Hardy did what he naturally does in back of the ring. Bubba was laying it into Rico. Spike pulled out a Hurricanrana and connected with a Wasap. Body slam and a Wasap from Jeff Hardy himself. They brought out the tables. Rosie ran through Bubba and started to cause chaos, and he was a difference maker early on for 3-minute warning. He was too aggressive and sent himself through a table. He no-sold it, not to mention wasn't eliminated. Nothing was working. They tried a lot of things to take him out, but it was going to take more. The heels overwhelmed Spike Dudley, leading to them swinging him through a table. This guy wasn't even selling moves because it was actually taking some rough stuff. They were actually beating the hell out of him throughout these matches. Spike was eliminated, and it was a struggle for Jeff Hardy and Bubba Dudley. Rosie and Jamal's problem was that they were trying small man stuff when they didn't need to. They quickly fixed this mistake and went back to work. Rosie and Hardy made their way to the crowd, and of course it wasn't going to end well. Rico's 60 overall offense worked all for Jamal to run into him, leading to the Bubba Bop. He went to the crowd to help Hardy get the advantage over Rosie. Jeff found himself in a familiar position to hit a Swanton to eliminate Rosie. Great spot. I felt like a better version of his other MSG Swanton. I think because he actually jumped through the table instead of falling like he did at Royal Rumble 2000. On Bubba Ray Dudley, ironically. They evened the odds, but back in the ring, Rico was having his way with Bubba. Hardy pushed the ropes, leading to Bubba sending him through nothing because Jamal made the save. Jeff Hardy with the whisper in the wind, dropkick in the air, and back outside, he was setting up yet another table. He barely finished that run on the barricade, and it worked out well for Jamal. He had a splash through the table, and this left only Bubba Ray Dudley for the match. Jamal made a huge mistake trying to match Hardy and Spike, and he got power bombed through a table. So now it was one-on-one. Rico was losing it over this and trying to make the most out of the opportunity. Rosie came back in even though he was eliminated, and 3-minute warning were back in the ring, and this is when Devon made his return. He took them out with the one-time exclusive main eventer boost. He came in like he was an 86 overall, taking them out rights, lefts, strikes, knocking them down, leaving the 60 overall Rico to take a 3D from the Dudley boys. And that was the match. The faces won. Devon was still on SmackDown, but that clearly changed. They embraced and reformed the tag team again, which was much needed. If in all that time they didn't succeed, it's better to move on and return to what you know best, especially if you're considered one of the best tag teams of all time. Enjoyable opener, it did what it was supposed to in getting the crowd interested. The Dudley Boys in table matches are a secret weapon, and very rarely did they fail to have a solid match. This was just that, and WWE would continue doing those table matches every once in a while because it was easy to do, simple stuff. Good opener. The next match is for the Cruiserweight Championship. Jamie Noble defending the title against Billy Kidman. This was as good as the Cruiserweight division was gonna be. Billy Kidman had a new theme song performed not by DMX, but it certainly sounded like him. He quickly went for the roll-up twice to catch the champion off guard. Hurricanrana, and the champion has to regroup. Noble was desperate to slow things down, and Kidman got ahead of himself at one moment, and Noble matched his energy with a suicide dive. High crossbody was countered with a dropkick, and both men were worn out around with this one. Kidman with the comeback sequence is getting some shots in with Noble having no answer to this. Fireman's carry into a neck breaker for a near fall. Noble answered this one and they're going back and forth here. Kidman was ready for the shooting star when Nydia made the save, so he had a crossbody to the outside. Leg drop from the apron for another 2 count. Noble's Tiger Bomb was scouted and he accidentally ran into his girl Nydia. This whole sequence was very close to a victory. A mistake from Kidman led to the Tiger Bomb, but it still wasn't enough, so Noble tried going up. He messed up leading to a DDT and he thought he had it with a vicious DDT from the ropes. This was his response to Billy Kidman. Kidman still kicked out of that and Nydia was still trying to get involved, but it didn't matter, and Billy Kidman hit the shooting star press 1, 2, 3. New champion. He was now a 3-time Cruiserweight champion, and this was a quick sprint. This match had it all, and it was less than 10 minutes. It was more than enough for them to put on a solid match. The crowd was into it, I was into it, and of course it wasn't the greatest example of the Cruiserweights, but it was good enough. I do wonder though, like, why didn't WWE continue having Jamie Noble be a major part of the Cruiserweight division? He was a good wrestler, he could do a lot, and I just think they didn't realize that. Later on, he was just a jobber. He wasn't exactly doing much. I do think he deserved to be around the Cruiserweight title more, not just around the division. I think he could have been a very good champion later on in the mid-2000s, especially when he returned to WWE around 2005, but it is what it is. This was a solid match though. Kurt Angle thought that since Kidman won the title that they could win the tag titles. Angle was throwing shade at Benoit, but he assured him that they're a tag team and that they aren't going to have any problems because not only are they a tag team, but they're friends. Angle said that when they're on, nobody can beat them. Victoria meanwhile broke a mirror because of her insecurity or something. I don't know, but she's crazy. That's one thing to mention. The next match is a hardcore match for the WWE Women's Championship. Trish Stratus defending the title against Victoria. A story rooted in jealousy and envy. Victoria had a lot of animosity for Trish Stratus over her success and beauty. Almost like her success was destined for her because of her appearance. That's how it was. That's the storyline. Victoria still had some generic music at the time that didn't really suit her character much. Not as much as the All the Things She Said song. Trish Stratus was a much better wrestler this time around, and this was right before her prime, I'd say. Just around here. Victoria quickly won the attack and already brought out the weapons. She was choking her with a broom and had so much venom and hatred. She felt too comfortable in this match. Leg drop from the apron, but it wasn't enough. Trish Stratus had zero offense up to this point. She finally did something with a catapult and a kick to the trash can. They even brought out an ironing board. She was doing a lot, but this was still Victoria's match. There's some awkward moments here with a chick kick in the bulldog, and Victoria pulled out the fire extinguisher and hit a suplex. 1, 2, 3. New champion. I remember this match being way better. I'm not even gonna lie to you guys. I also thought there was a mirror spot in here. I would have sworn on it before watching this match. Turns out it's a Mandela effect. They put in effort, but there were some odd moments in the match that keep it from being even better. I had a different kind of match in my mind. I remember this being way, way better than it was. It just wasn't what I imagined it to be. I recall this match having a lot of praise to it for certain reasons, but watching it here, it wasn't even close to that. Like, it's a decent match, but I was expecting more. I'm not even gonna lie to you guys. I expected more from this one. Eric Bischoff hyped up the Elimination Chamber when The Big Show, a former member of Raw, told him that he's gonna regret trading him to SmackDown. Brock Lesnar was still ready for a fight despite his injuries, but Paul Heyman was nervous. And I don't know why, but especially in this era, this man can't be a face. It just doesn't work, especially as a manager. ECW Paul Heyman could be in that role, but this version, no. The next match is the WWE Championship. Brock Lesnar defending the gold against The Big Show. Riding off a career high, Brock Lesnar looked unstoppable after Hell in a Cell. Big Show, though, wanted to make a name for himself again and went straight to the top and put himself in touch.
Is this where Paul Heyman turned on Brock? I think this is where Paul Heyman turned on Brock, if I'm not mistaken.
Contention. All while Paul Heyman was trying to cast doubts despite being his own agent and manager. Brock had a lot of detractors, yet still found a way to not only overwhelm the Big Show, but embarrass and brutalize him ahead of Survivor Series. This was actually supposed to be Brock versus Hulk Hogan, but Hogan thought he was going to win the title, which is funny because this man never lets up. He just won the belt earlier in the year, yet he is expecting another handout here. Big Show's push was very strange at the time, but it's often something that comes with Paul Heyman. He loved using the Big Show in his stories because he was a big man, and even though his booking was very bad, he turned it around. It was very rushed for him to just go straight to the very top for the title. Only a month for him to take out The Undertaker and potentially topple the next big thing. Brock quickly brought the fight. He showed zero fear despite his own ribs being a disadvantage. One thing to mention is that the fans were quickly ready to cheer in support for Brock. He wasn't fully a face yet, they were cheering like he's always been a good guy. Big Show threw him around, but he quickly responded with a spear and a lot of shots on the outside. All Big Show had to do was go after the ribs. Brock Lesnar quickly countered in the ring with a back suplex, and Big Show quickly remembered he was a jobber for 2 years and started messing up. He was trying to go for the F5 but failed. The ref got knocked down to the outside and Brock hit a belly to belly. Heyman brought in a chair and Brock used it to his advantage, leading to the F5. The fans were going crazy and Heyman couldn't believe what he was seeing. 1, 2, no. Heyman pulled the ref. Brock finally realized what had transpired. A man that brought him to the spotlight was the same man trying to sabotage him. He chased him around and Big Show took advantage with a choke slam on the chair. 1, 2, 3. New champion. This was a good one. It was very fast and to the point. No cold moment trying to slow things down. None of that. Just Brock throwing around a giant. You'd think he was lifting Rey Mysterio with the way he was throwing Big Show around. These were some of his best matches in his first WWE run because we didn't see Big Show be on defense like that so often. Other than that, it's crazy how quickly things changed for the Big Show. This man wasn't even on Sunday Night Heat at times. Now he's the champion because Paul Heyman saw something. This helped SmackDown a lot because Big Show's booking brought more for some of the wrestlers on the roster such as Kurt Angle, Brock Lesnar, and The Undertaker. Even later on like Eddie Guerrero and John Cena. They also made Brock Lesnar look very strong, having the Big Show run away in a limousine, being afraid of what he was going to do to him. This of course set up the main story for SmackDown, with WrestleMania 19 being about Brock Lesnar and the WWE Championship. The next match is a triple threat tag team match for the WWE Tag Team Championships. Rey Mysterio and Edge defended the titles against Chris Benoit and Kurt Angle and Los Guerreros. This was the big finale in the SmackDown 6 tag team storyline. All of the men would remain closely associated over the next few months, but it was more as individuals. Benoit and Angle had plenty of issues that needed to be dealt with in order to win the titles. Rey and Benoit started things off, aggression from Benoit and speed from Rey. Both men knew exactly what they wanted to do. Double team for the champions and Edge comes in. Benoit's chops were piercing, but they didn't last because Kurt Angle came in. He underestimated Edge, who was in control with a high speed. Chavo got tagged in and Angle didn't bother dealing with this so early in the match. Edge and Rey were dominant. Eddie comes in and he changed things. Rey was still doing crazy things and hit a monkey flip to tag in Kurt Angle. Nobody was bothering with these two. Angle's doing far worse than the others and they messed up here. Or Angle took advantage. It doesn't need to be called a botch because at the end of the day, high risk in storyline is just that. High risk. Angle's opening came from Rey's mistake and now they were in control. Egos were in check here and Rey was being worked on slowly. He took a brutal clothesline from Angle, who was fully focused, which came at Los Guerreros' expense. They weren't getting involved in the match much. Snap suplex from Chris Benoit for a near fall. Rey was being worn down with no end in sight. It took a while for him to hit the spinning heel kick to change the complexion of the match. Los Guerreros didn't bother coming in and it led to a hot Edge coming in with all the momentum. The match got a little too crazy here and Benoit and Angle were perfectly on point here. They're both on the same page and it didn't bode well for Edge. Rey makes a save and hits a corkscrew over the top rope. These guys were going insane with the spots. A German into a sunset flip into a German. I'm getting lost. What the hell is this? Chris Benoit overwhelmed Edge with the Germans, all while the crowd was going crazy. Eddie tried stealing this pin with a frog splash, but Benoit broke it. Angle with the angle slam and an ankle lock. Both teams were in a tough position, but it was here where that partnership got ruined. Angle saved Benoit from Chavo, who used the belt, but he thought that it was his own partner. Baseball slide into a swing from Rey. Execution got countered, but it didn't matter because it led to a spear. 1, 2, 3. They were out. Benoit and Angle were on the same page yet still had problems with each other. They took out their opponents and argued to the back. Back in the ring, Los Guerreros took advantage. Edge and Rey went through too much, so it was going to be tough to string up something like they had earlier. For as much as Los Guerreros endured, they sure didn't take as much as the champions. Unfortunately for the heels, they didn't capitalize as much as they should have. Edge and Rey were having their way, so Los Guerreros did what they do best. Cheat. Chavo blasted Rey after he hit the 619 on Eddie, and this led to the cloverleaf, and Rey tapped out. Great match. I love this one. It was a culmination of all the hard work and tremendous matches these guys put on. There was nobody in the entire WWE that was able to match them at the time. Absolute fire and consistency from these men. There was plenty of exciting and high points in this match. I can't choose one, but the moment where Benoit was dropping them with Germans and Rey and Edge with the high flying here stands out to me. Christopher Nowinski came out to flex his intelligence.
Yeah, this was top tier tag team. Yeah, this is when the tag team division was top tier, bro, because you could throw anybody in there at any time, bro. I say at least for the SmackDown side. The SmackDown side, you could, yeah, the SmackDown side had a great tag team division around this time, so the tag team matches was always going to be on point.
Saying that street smarts aren't like intelligence. It's nothing. He called New York the most stupid. They're number one in stupidity. Matt Hardy came out and I finally learned he drinks low-fat chocolate milk. Thank you, Matt. Matt Hardy version 1 came to the defense of the New York fans for all of 2 seconds before calling them losers. It made him look worse because he's surrounded by a bunch of people trying to take away his attitude. He's talking nonsense. This segment went on for a little too long as they were sucking each other off. Then Scott Steiner came out and he made his return for the WWE after 8 years. The question was, which brand was he gonna sign to? Big Papa Pump beat their asses and threw Hardy right onto Nowinski on the outside, and he had a great reaction from the crowd, which seemed like it would carry over to.
And then all his momentum died. All his momentum died right after this one. All his momentum died. God damn it. You fat son of a bitch. You fat. All his goddamn momentum died after this, bruh. Shout out to Big Papa Pump, though.
A potentially good run, but we all know what happened. Okay, Shawn Michaels once again reiterated why he believed, but you can't hear any of it because RNN brought an update on Randy Orton's shoulder. As you could see with the Survivor Series shirt, he was still a lower card wrestler, but that quickly changed. In the main event, Triple H defended the World Heavyweight Championship against Shawn Michaels, Booker T, Rob Van Dam, Kane, and Chris Jericho in an Elimination Chamber match. 6 of Raw's elite talent inside an unknown structure that guaranteed carnage and anarchy like no other. The chamber was invented by Triple H. The game drew it on a napkin and the design came about from it. He initially wanted a War Games match, but it was turned down. Eric Bischoff was credited with it in storyline to help establish him as a forward-thinking and often cold-hearted general manager with zero interest or compassion for his wrestlers, as long as it meant that fans bought tickets and watched on TV to increase the ratings. Chris Jericho came out to Saliva performing King of My World. Shawn Michaels had a very odd look here. His attire was incomplete and lacked quality. It was horrible. Triple H and RVD started things out. Spinning heel kick knocks down the champion and he was trying to figure out this offense. Van Dam knew how to navigate inside the structure and already Triple H was busted open and RVD was just going about things casually. Jericho had to come in, but even then he was still on top, jumping from the pod right onto the game. The third entrant did end up being Chris Jericho, but RVD's offense was still going strong. That spin kick had too much intensity. Springboard missile kick, but that was clearly not going to last any longer with the heels around. RVD managed to keep himself on the chains of the structure and used it to his advantage. RVD was the best wrestler to use as an example of what the chamber was capable of. It was awesome. The teamwork between Jericho and Triple H came into play here. They repeatedly threw him into the chamber with Jericho doing most of the work. RVD pulled out something but walked into a DDT, just in time for Booker T to come in. He came in with all the momentum and had the best reaction when he did the spinneroonie. RVD and Booker traded blows, a lot of intensity here with these two. They carried the match during this part with a mini singles match, and Booker had the edge when Triple H came in. Booker T hit the scissors kick but didn't follow up. Rob Van Dam hit a brutal 5-star frog splash that did a number on Triple H's larynx. It was horrible because of the narrow positioning, and this hurt Triple H tremendously, but the tough bastard still continued with this one. Booker T took advantage with a missile drop kick. 1, 2, 3. He was out because of that frog splash. Triple H barely kicked out. Kane was the next man to enter. The big red monster brought plenty of aggression to this one and overwhelmed everyone in the match. He threw Jericho into the glass pod, which got a big reaction from the crowd, and he was chaotic. Jericho low-blowed Booker, leading to the choke slam and the lion song. Now Booker T was out. The heels couldn't figure out Kane, and it was always going to be a tough one to control. Shawn Michaels was still watching all this chaos unfolding, and once he came in, everyone was down. Michaels brought the fight and then some to the competitors. Then Kane with a single clothesline knocks him down. It wasn't enough to take him out though. Kane decided to become dominant again with the choke slams, and one thing to mention is that Triple H's involvement was limited. The 3 men had to hit their finishers to eliminate the Big Red Machine, and it was back to the Jericho and Triple H partnership, a partnership that didn't benefit Jericho all that much because he was the one doing most of the work. It was only a matter of time before they turned on each other. HBK had a couple of moments where he turned up the tempo, but it was mostly the heels this match until Triple H decided he wanted to pin Michaels. Their egos brought problems in a mini match between them. Jericho had him in the walls and he pulled him away from the ropes, and it was clear that Triple H was gonna attack. But then Michaels with the sweet chin music. 1, 2, 3. One-on-one. Best friends, bitter enemies. These two were destroyed and beaten, but you could still see the hatred drawn from them. Triple H catapulted Michaels through the glass pod and both men were down. It seemed like this match was done. Even though HBK kicked out, it was a formality. Both men traded blows leading to a big face buster from Triple H. He clotheslined him over the top rope, and on the outside, Michaels responded with a catapult of his own into the chamber. Triple H already hurt his larynx, but this man took an elbow from Michaels on the top of the pod. His ego got the best of him here, opting to go for the sweet chin music. Triple H countered and hit the pedigree. He was unable to go for the pin though. By the time he went for the cover, Shawn Michaels kicked out. He tried it again but failed. Boom. Sweet chin music. 1, 2, 3. New champion. Shawn Michaels' 4-year journey from injury, retirement to return has finally culminated with the World Heavyweight Championship. It was a great moment. JR sold this moment well with his commentating. The crowd reacted wonderfully to it, and it was amazing. That is the way to establish the Elimination Chamber.
Yeah, this was a good moment. This was a feel-good moment to see Shawn Michaels with the championship. Granted, we all know, if you know, you know, Shawn Michaels never wanted to win a championship. He didn't want any titles at all. Tag titles was fine. He didn't have a problem with the tag titles, but WWE, Intercontinental, United States, it didn't matter. Any singles championships, he wanted no parts of. He was literally just there to just He was literally just there to just put on a show. That's all he wanted to do was just put on a show for the fans. See, this is why you can't deny that Shawn Michaels is not him, bruh. You cannot deny that Shawn Michaels is not one of the GOATs of WWE, bro. You cannot deny it, bro. The fact that he can't, his 2000s run is unmatched, bro. His 2000s run, unmatched, bro. And the fact that he didn't even win a championship, he didn't even need a championship. He was just there, and he just put on 5-star classics like it was nothing, bro. Come on, dog.
There was plenty of moments in this match watching it where you see moments that were in video packages. They played a lot of moments in this chamber match in video packages. That goes to show you how memorable the first match was. It brought a certain level of carnage that hadn't been seen since the advent of Hell in a Cell, since the first Hell in a Cell match. I'm not saying the other matches weren't chaotic, I'm just saying like it brought a new fresh outlook. It brought a new fresh approach. Like, damn, this match is actually crazy. That type of feeling. You don't get it with the later matches because you already know what the Elimination Chamber was, but looking at it from the 2002 perspective, nobody knew what this match was, and the crowd reacted wonderfully. They were amazed by this match. One of the best Elimination Chamber matches to this very day. It's definitely a top 5. I'd go as far as to say it's a top 3 Elimination Chamber match. You can say it's the best one, but I actually have 2005 over this one, honestly. It was a great way to end Survivor Series in Madison Square Garden. Great stuff here. Maybe RVD should have stayed a bit longer, but it is what it is. Great story here. Shawn Michaels won his only world title in his return run, which is very strange. It's odd, but it was well deserved. Well, actually, I do have something to add. I finished the video, I'm watching it. I forgot something. Shawn Michaels' attire freaking sucks. It's horrible. It's actually that bad. Like, who let this man go through the curtain with the freaking H on his back and the brown colored pants, bro? Come on. All right, that's Survivor Series 2002.
Yeah, listen. Outside of that, you got to give props to Triple H. As much as people want to hate on Triple H, you had to give him his props, bro. This dude, man, the shit he put his body through just for our entertainment, the shit he put his body through just for our entertainment, the amount of times he tore his quad and kept going in the match. He never walked out of a match. He said the match ain't over till it's over. God damn it. We gonna finish the goddamn match. He said, fuck this quad, nigga. We gonna finish this goddamn match. Dude went in there and got his lungs crushed, bro. This man's lungs got crushed by RVD. And he still went out there and played and went all the way to the finish. All the way to the finish. You can't deny his greatness, bro. For real. As much as we want to hate on Triple H and talk about his reign of terror, which is justified, I'm not saying that we shouldn't be complaining about that, but you can't deny as a human being, just as like take away the character and just focus on the human being that Triple H is, you got to give him his props, bro, as a wrestler, man. For real. Because he put his body through a lot. Now, he can't even wrestle now. Dude got a whole fucking pacemaker now in his heart. So, it is what it is. But anyways, though, that's just going to about do it for this one. Survivor Series 02, was it the best one? It's a little shaky, but that tag team match, the Elimination Chamber, the tag team matches in the Elimination Chamber were the real highlights. Big Papa Pump coming back. I mean, in hindsight, it didn't do nothing. It didn't do nothing. He didn't go nowhere. His momentum died immediately. So, yeah. Big Show and Brock Lesnar, that was it felt weird and out of place as to why they made Paul Heyman do that. It felt so out of place at the time. Understand they had to turn Brock face at some point because he was selling merchandise. And when you the top seller, they gotta turn you face because they gotta market you. Because they got to get them dollars somehow. You got to understand this is $1 million business. A lot of money goes into this. So if you can make the product any richer, they gonna execute on it. But yeah, man, that's just going to about do it for this one. I will see you all in the next video. Till then, peace out.